If you missed this month's group satsang, they're held every first Sunday of every month. We'd love to see you there next time. You can drop your email on any of the web pages at wildsatsang.org at the bottom of any of those pages. And I'll promise I'll never spam you. It's literally just to get notifications about group satsang, one-on-ones. Everything's always free. No matter where you are in this spiritual journey, I promise this can be relevant for you. Even if you think you have a stupid question, I promise. If you ask the dumbest question you think you can ask, it will help somebody. In offering your questions and this dialogue, you are helping people. So we'd love to see you there. Again, the first Sunday of every month. Drop your email, link below. All my love. If you truly follow this all the way, you realize the self was always a concept, a bundle of concepts, a bundle of thoughts, and it continues to be. But it becomes a bundle of thoughts within awareness. And so gradually there becomes a non-reactivity, as we spoke about, with this seeming identity, with this seeming personhood. You no longer are dragged around by your own identity. Eventually, this becomes the death of the person in consciousness because there's no longer a belief in personhood, in your unique identity as personhood. You realize that this unique identity in personhood was just a modulation of your own awareness that you eternally and essentially are. This is what is meant by die before you die. It's to realize simply this, that you are already this space between thoughts, this pure awareness, this pure presence. That's true meditation. That's unconditional love. And that's the death of personhood. And then, once that's established within, you can rejoin and play in personhood because that was the original intent. That's why you're here anyways. But you're no longer pulled about. You're free. That's what an enlightened being is.
When you were saying all that, it also felt like, and I don't know that I quite went there, but logically, it seemed to go that that's where the no self is.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Make sure that's not a
because
concept of no self, though.
no, it's like the self is like,
Just not there. It's just
yeah,
pure
there's
presence.
something like that. Yeah,
Well,
it's
look, tell me.
I
Is
don't
it
know if the
something
word
like
is
that?
presence or awareness or, but there's nothing holding it.
Because there's no thing there.
Yeah, so for a definition of self, you kind of think of a container for self. There's no container.
Perfect. Right? Is there a container in pure presence? Notice
No.
you have direct relationship to this. So you tell me. This is
No,
what you are. You tell me.
doesn't feel like it.
Good. Then you're sensing into the truth.
Thanks.
So just
Hey,
yeah, just
can I,
continue to return here. Just return here and just sit here. Illusions will fall away here. This is the incubation chamber. This is where your egg will crack. This is true meditation. Ivan, you were going
Can
to say
I say
something?
something about it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead.
I would
yeah,
like to add something.
sorry,
So it was three things, right? Sorry, Ivan. It was
no,
three things. It
go
was the
ahead.
meditation. It was it was a meditation. It was what was the other? It was death, and the other one was what?
Love, three, yeah,
Love.
yeah,
So for me, at least, we all die. So we do one of those things anyway. So we can reach enlightenment. It sounds stupid to say, but at least we all die, you know?
Yeah, the concept of self will certainly fall away, at least in part, when you die. But before
Okay.
I get to you, Ivan, and you're next, but I would like to say this real quick. Even right now, your concept of self is very much tied with your personhood. And so when you die, this concept of self will lose its ties to this personhood, the details of this personhood. However, right now, you are already consciousness. And so
Yeah.
there are still ties in consciousness that are likely to persist after death. That's why we hear about these near-death experiences, and people still seem to be looking from a localized perspective. It's because there's still an amalgamation of consciousness, a bundle of consciousness that believes in selfhood even after death. Perhaps that consciousness no longer believes that it's this person, but it still believes that it's something, and that's why it continues to be vocalized. And that, yeah, all right there, Jeff. And,
Yeah. I just dropped my camera on the floor for Christ's sake.
everything is for Christ's sakes. And so and so there's likely to be still this bundle of thought that believes itself to be consciousness, even after death. And so after death isn't necessarily full enlightenment, not necessarily, but a lot of this identity structure falls away when the personhood dies. I just wanted to make that a little bit more clear, even though I didn't say that very well, but I'll say it more and then hopefully it clarifies over time. As I speak about
I
this,
was actually
hopefully I'm able to speak more clearly about the ineffable.
Chris, do you remember I asked you one time that I was just in a hurry to awaken before I die,
Hmm.
and you said that's not gonna happen.
Well,
Don't worry about
if you took it like that, I apologize. I didn't mean that. Anything can happen
it.
at any time.
No, do you remember, like we were talking about this, and that was such a big relief for me that I have an infinity to awaken, and that
Mm,
that something that was blocking me, which was to awaken as soon as I can, it was a block.
yes.
It was a big block which went away like and it just blew up because you said, don't worry, even if you die, you still have like forever to go to
Yes.
awake. And that just uh that felt so light and that just blew up. So we do not I don't so you explained something so beautifully that's there in the video where we talked.
Yep.
There you explained it like really well that don't worry, you've got an infinity
Perfect.
of
No, I remember exactly what you're talking about, Sanchi. Yeah, you were worried about achieving enlightenment before death, and I said, don't worry about it. You're already the timeless now. You don't need to awaken before death. It definitely will smooth out the death process because you won't be afraid anymore. You'll live, no longer fearing death.
and when you were talking about death before dying,
Hmm.
so there was a lot of talk of this particular thing in the Hindu scriptures and the ancient wisdom. There was a lot of talk and known that particular thing, a concept since we were kids, but I never got it. So, and when with you came a point where I told you that I'm feeling like I'm going to die, then I realized that this needs to die before an actual physical death. There's this person that needs to die, and the timelessness needs to come up. But it has been a rough journey since that point onwards because there have been panic attacks as if I'm going to die, the fear that I'm going to die. So the panic attacks have come up. Like I recently have been visiting a therapist who's telling me panic attacks. I'm like, sure. She she is telling me you are feeling that you're going to die. I'm like, yeah, I know. So There was no point going to her after 2 or 3 sessions. That was that.
If you
Because
say so, I will say that traditional therapy is a good tool as well, though. I wouldn't discount traditional therapy, but it's also true that all of these panic attacks are playing out within what you essentially already always are. And what is that, Sanchi?
so when you had the pointer where you said after 1,000 years, if you are an ascended master and you in which dimension you are, which is a dimensionless space, and it is still this awareness.
Mm.
For that second, I laughed, and that was that. It was gone in 2 seconds,
Mm.
and the thoughts came back. And this is what I was going to ask you. That when you say the space between thoughts, then I try to bring myself to that feel. I try to feel that space between thoughts. Then this feeling comes up or this thought comes up. This I know. So this this I know, like that feeling. And then the thoughts start coming, like
Hmm.
that. Even that recognition that this I know is a thought, right?
Hmm. What
And
essence knows? What is this I you refer to?
then there's this nothingness. But this
Perfect.
thought,
Perfect. No, don't keep going. Don't run away from this too quick. That recognition is where you sit. When you just
even if I
when hold on one second. But
want to tell you this, I want to
I
tell
know
you.
you want to say it. I know you want to say it, but the I'm telling you that the mind will continue to do this. It will never stop. That's the function of mind. It's okay if this never stops. Awakening does result in the gradual lessening of these thoughts that continually uh, seem to intercept our awareness. But notice, like you just did, the essence of I, you said there's this pure, you didn't use these exact words, but you notice that there's this pure luminous nothingness. That is the essence of I. That is the essence between thoughts. That is pure presence, pure awareness. All of these are just kind of wordy words to describe this ineffable space that you are, this luminous field of awareness. So,
Still conceptual. Right now, it's conceptual. When you point just for a millisecond, I am that, and then, oh, this I know. And this I know, that first sentence or thought keeps happening all the time.
who is saying it?
This I know.
From what essence does this thought arise from? It's the same essence that all thoughts arise from. We can also ask ourselves, where do thoughts arise from?
Then just two blocks come up in my mind.
See where those
One,
blocks arise from. Don't be so entranced by the details of the thoughts that arise. Notice that you're becoming entranced by them. You're becoming pulled by the thoughts that arise, right? You don't have to be so pulled or triggered. Marion and Jeff both brought up non-reactivity.
I believe that I can actually help with that.
Please, please.
Because I also had panic attacks for a very long time. And it's because of one traumatic event that happened. And since then, I believed that I was going to die. I also realized that it was the ego trying to survive, you know? But I did some visualization exercises that helped me with panic attacks. And it's basically, I imagined myself as this, like I am space with all the stars and everything in it, right? And this panic attack or this fear can't attach to anything because there's nothing for it to attach to. So then it just dissolves into nothingness. And that helped me so much because it showed that I am not my thoughts. And also it helped me to realize that the thought is insignificant. It can't touch me because I'm way above it. I hope that can help you. If you can just stay in that state and realize that it can't touch you, it's not you. It's something I imagined it was like a black thing trying to reach for something, but it can't because I'm too wide for it. I'm too big. That helped a lot.
You
Perfect.
detached those thoughts from yourself, basically. I thought to myself, I made myself remember that I'm not scared of dying. I have never been since childhood. But this came up when I understood what panic attacks were. It was funny for me that because I had never been scared of dying. And this only came up after there was when there were experiences of me as the real me, and the thought me literally felt something has pulled it out of where it thought it existed. And since then, so that's why I think it's really amazing that Chris says that it's good that we do it in the way God wills for us and not push ourselves into something, because it could result in a very dramatic thing, which is pointless. There's no point of that. We are here to awaken.
Perfect.
Uh, so since that when I started to remember, I kept going through my recordings with Chris that I have had one-on-one and otherwise his other videos as well, and what was actually happening with my thinking, and that helped me with the panic attacks. My mother is telling me to take medicines, and I showed her a video of a star who was told, one of the biggest Bollywood stars in India has told that I have these issues, the mental issues or mental health issues, sorry, and I'm not taking medicines, she said. So I calmed down my mom that she isn't taking, and they have all the, you know, uh, amazing things at their hand. They can take anything they want, and any doctor's help, any kind of expensive treatments they can get. When she is not choosing to take medicines, I can also not choose to take medicines and just work with with I don't know, I couldn't tell her, but awareness.
It's not wrong to do both either. Like take note of what people say about you in the world. If you're becoming peaceful in other people's experience of you, then sure, you probably don't need to take these things. However, if other people are saying that you're becoming abrasive or erratic, take note of that. These are all different perspectives, and all perspectives are valuable. So you can do both. Don't necessarily think that, traditional therapies or traditional medicines are wrong or incorrect for any ways.
I
When
definitely
when
don't
I have a headache, I still take Tylenol.
come from that school of thought that medicines are bad to take. I do not endorse that at all. I have myself studied psychology, so to some extent, I know that, okay, and I know where to stop as well, because you can get habitual of those things.
True,
So
true. You can become dependent.
yeah, and thankfully that erratic behavior or something like that has not happened because I have never, like, I have been calm always, even if I'm having a turmoil inside, nobody can even tell. So when I'm so if I'm feeling that erraticness in my within myself, nobody could tell that, but then I take a medicine because I know it's going crazy right now. I have done that. So that still comes from a sense of something that is aware of that erraticness is which I'm not able to handle. I need to take a medicine at the
Mm.
physical level
Hmm.
for me to.
And there's
So
nothing wrong with that.
yeah, yeah, because there is an awareness of that erratic behavior as well that's
Hmm.
going on in the physicality of
Is the awareness that's aware of that erratic? No. And that's who you are. Hold on to this and return to this. That's the only thing to do. Thank you, Sanchit.
Sorry, I'm also from experience here. Since I've dealt with a lot of panic attacks, like, trust me, this is for like 20 years plus. I've dealt with this, done so much research, and I realized that it's actually a pandemic that's happening right now, mental health illness. It's
Hmm.
because your mind is too busy and your body can't keep up. You have to exercise. That is the most important thing that you can do because our bodies haven't evolved to the point that we can handle all these thoughts. And if you're scared of a lion, you're going to run away from the lion, for example. But we don't, and the body stores all of that negative energy. It does,
Hmm.
and then it accumulates during the day, especially at night. For me, then it bursts. It's like a volcano erupting, and you need to release that energy somehow, some way. And exercise, especially cardio, is the best way to release that, because if your body is tired, you won't be able to think anyway. I promise you that.
It's a good suggestion. Thank you,
Yeah.
Shane. I wanted Ivan, you had something you wanted to say earlier, and I wanted to circle back around and make sure you had the space.
Oh, thanks. Well, a lot of it has happened in the meantime. Can you hear me? Okay, is my
Yeah.
microphone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
It's good? Okay. Hi, everybody. My question revolved around what you sell? How do I pronounce your name? You mentioned something about Osho, and he mentioned three things. He mentioned meditation, he mentioned death, and he mentioned love. And this is the thing that caught my attention because in my experience of true meditation, like you say, Chris, it happened that I was surrounded by um, non-judgmental, what you call it, all-encompassing awareness, all-encompassing love. It happened spontaneously, like it was like a bang thing, you know. You say there is a gradual thing and we're all going through, but it was a bang thing. It was like pure white light.
Hmm.
And in this white light that was all-encompassing, not like like all allowing love, something has like the person first felt a bliss, like
Mm.
I'm home, you know. And then like, oh, the love is too strong. Felt like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. You see?
Hmm.
This like this death, like direct fear of death is
Hmm.
the only thing I can describe it as. And it contracted like something like I guess here in the heart or somewhere like that, you know. There's like a narrowing and bang, I was out of the experience. Still, it was very, I mean, a lot of things have happened, but every time I hit upon this specific person, like sense of personhood, it
Hmm.
feels like I'm gonna die, and then it runs away.
Mm.
You see what I mean? Like if you
Totally.
go deep into meditation, like you still mentioned that Osho said, go deep enough, and you said go deep enough into meditation, and it's gonna feel like that. And this specific ego is scared shitless
Hmm.
of that light. So what is it that is scared of the light? What is it that is scared
Identity.
of awareness? What is that?
Attach.
How is, I mean, yeah. That's my question. So,
Well, first of all, that pure white light that you describe is where we all go if we go far enough into meditation, because the light of knowing is what you're talking about. That is what we are. This space between thoughts is what you're talking about. That pure white light is the absolute, no longer looking through the lens of personhood. It's just pure luminous knowing. That is as deep as one can go in meditation. That is the space of enlightenment from which all of this comes forth into the play of reality. And when you go there, if you get close enough, personhood blips out. And right before that happens, there is a fear barrier that arises. There's this fear of deletion, this fear that the self will no longer persist, that you'll die. And all sorts of thoughts are likely to rush in, like, oh no, what? I can't have, my partner find me dead on this couch meditating. Like, what will they think? Like there's all these thoughts that come rushing in. And I've experienced all these as well. I know exactly the fear you're talking about because I've experienced it as well. But it won't happen. You are already this in every moment. It's just the attachment to identity that will fall away. The identity won't necessarily fall away, but it's the attachment to identity that will die. Like
right.
what? Like
It
at
feels
if
like a survival mechanism, like the survival mechanism itself gets triggered.
yeah, yeah.
Like the thing, okay, I've kept you alive for many lifetimes, you know.
Hmm.
Now you want me to die? Just
It's an
like
in,
that?
it's an instinctual reaction.
You see
You're
what I
right.
mean?
Totally.
Like
It's
something along
instinctual.
those lines, but that's just a mental thing. When it comes as pure fear.
It
It doesn't come as a thought. It comes as just
mm,
like, you see what I
yeah,
mean? Yeah.
totally. You're right. It doesn't arrive as a thought necessarily. It can for some. It arises as an energy of
Yeah,
fear.
it becomes thought later,
Right.
but first it
Yeah.
comes as a narrowing of consciousness. I
Right.
feel as a clenching, you
Right.
see.
Right.
Uh, this only happened like 3 times in my life. I think I spoke to you in one comment about it. Like 3 times this happened. Like I was sitting in an ayahuasca ceremony, and the shaman says, "Tonight, you allow everything.
Hmm.
Anything that comes to you, you allow it." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's it, man. I'm allowing everything now." And in middle of the ceremony, like I'm looking at the ceiling, and a portal opens, like a fucking white light portal
Hmm.
opens above and above several people in the room, and this like mechanical, multi-dimensional mechanical light device comes from this portal
Hmm.
towards the heart, towards me, and I'm like, "Oh, look at this! This is so beautiful." I was like, "Whoa!" Like a little kid, and it came closer to the heart. This white light. It was a device, so it was a form. It wasn't pure white light. It was made of, but it had a form. And when it came too close, something in me again. What do you want? What is it you want? And the very thing that happened that moment, I was out of the experience. I was hiding again, running again from this, because this was going to tap into that survival mechanism that triggers every time without fail when there it is faced with a awareness, with a this. I mean, this wasn't like the pure awareness. This was a form, but it was enough to trigger it. You see what I mean?
Totally.
Totally different thing. Like it wasn't meditation, it was an ayahuasca ceremony, whatever. But it triggered the same part of this personhood that clings to, I don't know, to something, to some identity, like a little child that is scared and wants to bolt. You
Hmm.
see, that's the thing that comes up.
Well, the instructor for your ayahuasca ceremony approached it entirely correct, and that is to allow all that comes. And I invite you to do the same in your regular meditation and in life. Allow all that comes, because pure awareness is pure allowance. And so to allow all that comes is the correct attitude. It's the attitude of your fundamental nature. And I invite you to continue to try to enter into that pure white space, because in that pure white space, you said there's forms and a
I couldn't.
technology technology.
I can't on demand do it. I tried many times, Chris. It
Sure,
only
sure,
happened
sure.
2 times. It's not like okay, snap my fingers, I'm there. No, no, no. It usually happens when I'm not trying to do anything. When I
Perfect.
sit like I'll go like wherever, and sit in meditation and nothing will happen most of the time. But like the other day, I was walking through the woods and all of a sudden I realized that it's right there. It's right there. No big bangs, no nothing. The awareness is right there. The awareness that you're talking about, that Muji's talking about, that Eckhart is talking about it, whoever is talking about is right there. Like the width of a thought.
Hmm.
And then in that moment, I realized that width of a thought is a thought, but it is this close. It's very close.
How
There is
far
no
is it?
distance
Good.
precisely. And I wasn't trying to do anything. I was just walking through the woods. Yeah, there was no practice. Just spontaneously happened. So I guess maybe that is the
I have no notes. That's beautiful. Just continue to hold this perspective, hold this sort of energy of attitude that allow all that comes. You're in Ivan, you're in close enough proximity to this. That doesn't happen for most people. You're in close enough proximity to this that this will just happen. People awaken in all sorts of different scenarios. It can happen when you're walking through the woods or when you're meditating. And it doesn't always necessarily look like an introduction to pure white light, but it can, because ultimately that's what everything is made of. Isn't all color just made of pure white light? And so everything that you see as you look around is just a specific rate of vibration of pure white light. And you were introduced to this directly.
yes. I was, but the thing is to know it in the moment, sometimes it is not like when I know it, when I'm in the presence of it, it is crystal clear that it has always been here.
Mm-hmm.
It is not something that comes and goes.
Mm-hmm.
Like the other day when I was walking through the woods, it's just there. It has always been there. It will always be there. There is nothing
Always been here.
standing between because everything is it. There is nothing that is not it.
Everything is a coloring of that.
Precisely. That is the way to describe it, and you describe it beautiful. By the way, you have great vocabulary for
Mhm.
this.
Mhm.
But the thing is, it is not to know it as a concept. It itself doesn't come and go, but awareness of it for this personal perspective seems to come and go.
Notice you said awareness of. And so anything that comes after the of, awareness of, will always come and go. But the awareness is that pure white light, and it never comes and goes. We are just seeing the refraction of this pure white light as the myriad of things, as the myriad of our experiences, our senses. Everything is a fractalization of the pure white light that you are right now. And whether it looks like this to people, whether people see this pure white light or not, isn't necessarily important. But know in your direct experience that everything is a fractalization of this pure white light. Even scientifically, you know this. All color is made of pure white light. And everything that you see around you right now, even if you're colorblind, is a refraction of that pure white light. Isn't all color made of white light a refraction or a specific vibration of white?
Correct?
And this white that we're describing is actually colorless. The mind comes up with white, but it's colorless presence. It's the presence between thoughts. Notice the relationship between all these things. There is no relationship between all these things. It's all one thing. It's all pure presence. It's all pure awareness. It's all pure, white, luminous knowing. That's what we all essentially are. And so, Ivan, don't be afraid. Like, if you encounter that again, it's already what you are. It's just the attachment to identification that has an instinctual self-protection mechanism that feels like an uprising of fear, the energy of fear. You're already
Yes.
this. So don't be afraid.
So what is my practice?
Your practice is
You
just
say,
to allow what comes in regular life. Life for you, for all of us, is meditation. If you are in satsang, you are on the path of direct realization. You are in the fast lane of direct realization. Part of your soul has chosen the direct path. And so meditation is no longer just on the cushion for you. Life is meditation. Accept all that comes, because that is the attitude, the vibrational attitude of pure awareness. It's pure allowance. Pure allowance, like we talked about, is unconditional love. It allows all things, accepts all things as they are. I'll maybe take one more I'll maybe take one more comment or question, and then I'd like to end with a specific practice. And I'll introduce the practice right now, and we'll do it later, but it'll give you some time to think about whether or not you want to share. And I'll call this segment of satsang, this last segment, healing presence. If anybody has any ailment or any sort of thing that they want healed, that they want to bring into the light of awareness, the rest of us will be in direct observation of that. It's not necessarily that there's any healing modality happening here, but I will say that sometimes our ailments don't necessarily need to be solved. Sometimes they just need to be seen. And that seeing, that pure seeing, allows a harmonic resonance with the truth of their fundamental nature. And then perhaps those ailments can meet their harmonic being in truth. And sometimes they just fall away in that. So if anybody has a question they really want to get to, now's the time, and then we'll enter into that.
There's no question. Did you ask us to tell you that particular thing that we need it exposed to the healing?
You don't have to. You don't have to. But we'll allow maybe like a couple people to just describe something that's, you know, stuck in their craw, stuck in their consciousness that they want to have held in the presence of the community. And
Yes.
when those things are held in the presence of the community, there's a vibration of healing there. Because, like I said, not everything wants to be solved. Many things in the human experience just want to be seen. And as things are brought into the light of pure awareness, they can meet their
So
healing.
it's so amazing that you have said this today and in this particular satsang, because in the daytime I was thinking something similar to this, because I've come across uh, uh, the core of all my physical ailments in a way, which I've been suffering throughout my life and they have been called IBS. They have had different names, anxiety issues, etc., etc., etc. And even like Joanne told me that I need to exercise, and I have known that I need to. but the only thing that has been stopping me from exercising, which I need the most, um, is this thing called hypermobility in my body. So it's something which I have come to know only now, that it was causing different things throughout my life. I think the hypermobility in my body in the presence of light.
Perfect. So, Sanchi, thank you for offering that. And if you can hold that non-judgmentally in your awareness, the rest of us will do that for you also. So, can all of us hold this which ails Sanchi in the light of their own pure awareness for just a minute here? Sanchi, you can completely offload that to us, and we'll hold that for you. So see that you've given this which ails you to the group, and the community is going to hold it for you. Not necessarily try to heal it or fix it or change it, but to see it and hold it. So all of us will hold that for Sanchi. Sanchi, you're not alone in this. We're all holding this for you. You can offload it to the community. You don't need to fix anything. Nothing needs to be fixed. Just hold this, Sanchi. Does anybody else want to offer any of their ailments up to the pure presence that this group can hold? The pure seeing that this group can hold? Pure presence and pure seeing, without the needing to change or fix anything, allows for what has traditionally been called grace. By offering things up into pure presence, pure awareness, in a communal setting, you're allowing things to be met with grace, the highest knowing, the knowing that doesn't need to change anything, but allows everything. Grace is the activity or the potency of unconditional love. This is what's on offer in this space. Does anybody else want to offer anything else up to the group to hold for them?
So I'm not sure how to explain this, but it's been like this for the past 2 weeks for me. So I think they're called lymph nodes in English. They've been swollen for about 2 weeks now, and they haven't gone down, and it's really irritating. And yeah, that's about it. I'm offering that.
Perfect.
that
So I'll hold this for you, Dwayne. In the light of our own presence, we'll hold it for you. So you can offload it to us and trust the unseen work. The work that isn't done by a doer. The work that is done by pure presence, pure allowance. So we'll hold this now for you, Dwayne.
That's insane. Like, it, I'm thinking it's healed. Like, I'm serious.
Remember whether or not it is actually healed, that's just a thought. But I will say that this is the potency of grace. Presence itself is undivided, and therefore it reveals the wholeness that is always alive and present already, even in seeming ailments. And so that's what's on offer here. And so yes, maybe it is healed, and you can fully step into that. And maybe it's not, and that's okay too. And step fully into that. We're not
I,
trying to fix anything
yeah,
because we
get
are
it. I
not the
get it.
doers.
Yeah.
But thank you for being open and allowing, because that is where healing takes place. Does anybody else want to offer anything up to the for the group to hold? This is a community in perfect presence. And in that, we allow grace to enter into the picture. It is not our grace, it is the grace of perfect presence that is already whole. If nobody wants to bring anything else up, we'll all just hold presence for each other for maybe 2 more minutes, and then we'll close. But let's hold each other in perfect presence, the presence that is undivided. Like I opened this satsang, it's the space between thoughts that is undivided. Not even thoughts can divide this space. Pain cannot divide this space. When this community comes together in stillness, in presence, in silence, in truth, in the willingness to feel without fixing, this collective field becomes sacred ground because we're allowing the space. Notice that everything spoken today, every ailment, every question, every thought, every offering, shimmers with the same alive presence that we all share, that we're all holding together right now, that's holding us. Perfect presence is perfect wholeness. Notice this. Notice that everything, whether it's the wind, a rock, your pet, yourself, shimmers with this same alive, living presence that is undivided and whole. And further, if it is present, it is already whole. See everything in the light of truth. And you'll become a conduit for this healing presence. Truly, there are no healers. There are just open fields of allowance. So thank you everyone for joining today, for being this, for being reintroduced to your essential nature, who and what you always are. Before this person came into existence, after this person will fade out of existence, you are already this alive and aware presence that you can find between thoughts, prior to thought, where thoughts arise from and in. And in time, you will see all of those arisings as colorings or modulations or vibrations of this already whole and alive living presence. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks so much. Very, very nice. Everybody too. What a nice, nice thing this is on a Sunday morning.
Perfect. And
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. Thank you. We all are held in this together. If anybody wants to join the community chat
Thank
again,
you.
there's the Discord, and anybody is welcome. I think the link to that Discord, the community chat, is at the bottom of any of the videos on YouTube, or any of the newer videos on YouTube, I think. So hope to see you all there. Until next time, all my love.
Bye, Chris. Thanks.
Bye.
If you found this video helpful, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing. Thank you. All my love. If you missed this month's group satsang, they're held every first Sunday of every month. We'd love to see you there next time. You can drop your email on any of the web pages at wildsatsang.org at the bottom of any of those pages. And I'll promise I'll never spam you. It's literally just to get notifications about group satsang, one-on-ones. Everything's always free. No matter where you are in this spiritual journey, I promise this can be relevant for you. Even if you think you have a stupid question, I promise, if you ask the dumbest question you think you can ask, it will help somebody. In offering your questions and this dialogue, you are helping people. So we'd love to see you there. Again, the first Sunday of every month. Drop your email, link below. All my love.